Welcome. In this video, I'm pretty much going to be giving a rundown on my top 10 favorite crypto charts right now. I'm going to try and make it quick, not going to go too crazy with it, just get to the point, show you the tickers and what I'm thinking about them. Before I get into them, you have to remember, Bitcoin still is in this weird range between 30K and 40K. Pretty neutral, there's both support and resistance. But to go more in depth on Bitcoin, which honestly, regardless of this range, there are some bullish variables on Bitcoin right now. You have a bullish butterfly harmonic pattern. It actually bounced at the PCZ or around the PCZ, and the daily MACD went back over to green. The last 4 times the daily MACD went to green, we had a nice move up in price. There is no bullish divergence on the MACD, but it's still nice to see we go back to green. Weird grammar. And then also on the RSI, you're pretty sure you were at the lowest level since the COVID crash. Yeah, you were, and now you're finally bouncing again. So trying to make a higher low. If we go down to the 1 hour chart, you have this inverse head and shoulders. We'll see how this continues to develop and play out. But just remember, if Bitcoin randomly wants to go back all the way to 30K, it could get a little bit frothy for the rest of the altcoins. Bitcoin is king when it comes to this market at the end of the day, most of the time. So just keep all that in mind, but let's get right into the other cryptos. Gonna keep it sweet, gonna keep it simple. Number one is OXT. Pretty nice looking bullish bat harmonic pattern. Classic bullish divergence on the daily. Just like Bitcoin, it is now trying to make a higher low than the previous low. So anything above 33 cents on OXT looks pretty good to me. That used to be a resistance from November of last year to January of this year. It flipped into your support, and that's going to be the common theme on a lot of these altcoins. Their previous resistances are actually flipping into support. So with the Bitcoin pullback from 66K all the way down to 30K, obviously a lot of these altcoins lost, over 50% of their value, which in turn allowed them to create these bullish patterns and show bullish divergence and flip previous resistances into supports. That was something I noticed with growth stocks about 2 weeks ago. And if you follow me and you know how the trades have been doing, the growth stocks trades in the last 2 weeks have been amazing. And crypto just looks so similar to, I cannot count on my hand how many times a market shows major harmonic patterns, bullish divergence, major supports back testing as previous resistances, and you get very nice bounces. That's just a very common theme I've noticed since I started trading, and where you get these types of patterns and they really mean something. You get all these variables to line up, and I even remember last summer a lot of these altcoins had these same exact looking charts, and we all know what happened pretty much from February to I'd say about February and March of this year. A lot of them just went insane. So they're looking pretty interesting. The first one is OXT. As long as it's over 33 cents, I think 50 cents could be next again. That's over a 20% move. If it ever breaks that, who knows? This thing, it's had a few major pumps, I'd say about 3, but you can notice that it's always making these higher lows. You can see this trend line right over here. Looks very interesting, and you came back to that trend line when you got to the dip on May 22nd. So very interesting chart. The next one is FIL USD, and this one is also a bullish bat. It doesn't look as good in terms of the structure, but you do have daily hidden bullish divergence, which is now confirmed. You're hanging on to the 200-day moving average. You're just above it, and I'm gonna be honest right here. I was actually gonna film this video last night, and a lot of the coins I'm about to show you were much lower, and then I woke up this morning and they were all up 5 to 10%. So I'm not telling you when to buy or when to sell. I'm just giving you charts that I think in the mid to long term are at value areas. Of course, they bring risks like any other trade, but it's in a very interesting area, and that's what I'm trying to share. You got these deep corrections with major patterns and major divergence. FIL is another interesting one to me. Honestly, I'd say you want to just hold above $64 on this one. That's kind of been your support if you look at the candle bodies. If you break that, you probably want to hold 54 next, and then after that, I'm not too sure. But again, just so similar to the rest of the coins I'm going to show you, and that's number 2, FIL. The third one is NUUSD. I tried to find a harmonic pattern on this one. It was a little bit hard, I'm going to be honest, but regardless, it's pretty good. Again, it went to a major correction and back tested a previous resistance as a support with triple classic bullish divergence in the daily, kind of like a downsloping channel or a descending broadening wedge, and again, making a higher low. So obviously a lot of altcoins tend to move similarly to Bitcoin, but with more volatility typically. And a lot of these charts, they just kind of look the same in a good way. So I'm hoping that these play out. These are the areas where swing traders typically could be placing their bets, their strategical areas, and we'll see what happens. Let's move on to the next one. Storage A, pretty much the same thing as the last chart. back tested a previous resistance as a support. It's holding the 200-day moving average. Classic bullish divergence is now confirmed on the daily. As long as it holds 93 cents, this looks pretty strong as well. Next resistance is probably like $1.77. So if it just holds above 93 cents, in time it could make a 70% move to go test 177. There's just not that much resistance until then if we zoom out. So that's StorageJ. Moving on, we have Band USD. This one got me a little bit frustrated. It was pretty much exactly at $7 last night. And I woke up and it was up 20%. So definitely regret getting tired and not making this video last night, because all of these were on my watch list. I had all of them charted. I was just too tired to record it. And you can see that it did what it was implying. Kind of had like a tweezer bottom on the daily. Not perfect. The second candle was a little bit lower in the close. But another interesting harmonic pattern. Kind of like a bullish shark. Not perfect, but it has the ideology of it. And then again, you double bottomed at the PCZ and you won up 20%. But in reality, there is still so much more room to the upside, because just about a month and a half ago, it was at 22 and now it's at 9. So it could be a nice purchase on a pullback. That's not financial advice. Just it makes sense in these areas to be at least be taking a bet as long as you manage your risk, in my opinion. Obviously not FOMOing or anything, but when it gives you a nice, dip to enter on, you could scale in and all those things we talked about in the course. Next one is Tezos Xtz. Pretty similar to the last chart, kind of like a bullish shark again. Bottomed out at the 886, made a higher low. The one with this one is you really don't have any divergence. But if we go over onto the 4-hour, you can see that this $3 level that it did actually backtest as support on, what day is it? It's the 31st, about 2 days ago on the 29th. That's a pretty important level. If we go back in time, you can see that used to be resistance right over here in May and June of last year. And I think that's about it, but used to be a pretty decent resistance to pull back quite a bit at it. But once it finally broke it went all the way up to about 450. So now it's actually used that as support after breaking back above it. You do have the 200-day moving average right above you, but if that breaks, kind of looking at 450 again, you can see 450 is the next important level to the upside. It was your candle high over here, resistance over here, and then resistance over here. So even over here, all the way back in June of 2018, it was your resistance. So as long as it holds above 3, it could go and test 453 next. We'll see what happens. Another interesting chart. No divergence on the MACD, but it looks good. It's waning back towards green. RSI, also no divergence. No. But yeah, moving on, we have Zcash, ZEC. You can see how it's really finding support at the 200-day moving average. For pretty much the past week, it's been holding that. So as long as you can continue to close your daily candle over the 200-day moving average, which is currently 137.6, I would say that would be a good, area to be scaling in around if it does pull back there, or just to put your stop loss under if you do want to be buying it a little bit higher to try and play these altcoins on their current runs. But we'll see how long it lasts. I hope it lasts long. And again, really no divergence, but yet another semi-bullish shark harmonic pattern. And I think this 139 level is also very important. You can see it was resistance over here and support over here back in 2017 and 2018. And if we come back over here, it's finding support at that area yet again, which is also ironically the 200-day moving average. So now we have two more. The first one is GRT. This one's already been going crazy. It was up like 20% yesterday. It's up another 8% today. So again, not telling you to go market buy and FOMO. You could wait for better entry areas if it is offered. I don't know if it's gonna, offer a dip. But another strong looking chart. You have it's like kind of a mix of a few harmonics. You definitely have that 618 from X to B, but you have an 886 from X to D. So kind of like a Gartley, but also close to a bat. It just depends on how you want to look at it. But regardless, you have the XABCD, and now you're trying to double bottom at the 886, which is a previous resistance. So you can see we have all these variables lining up at the same price point. A harmonic PCZ, a previous support flipped into, or a previous resistance flipped into a support, a double bottom. If we go to the 4-hour, it'll be more clear. First bottom, second bottom. And then also classic bullish divergence, which is now confirmed on the daily. So yet another chart which has made a deep retrace with a XABCD harmonic-like pattern, bullish divergence, all the things I look for on my trades. And if you remember, just a few weeks ago, growth stocks were showing these same exact things. And what did they do? Most of them did this. So we'll see if that can happen in crypto. Obviously, we got to hope for Bitcoin to hold up over here. If it does, could be promising not only for these tickers, but a bunch of other altcoins. And then finally, the 10th one to top it off is Dogecoin. Okay, so I put out a few alerts on Dogecoin. Definitely did miss a bulk of the run up to around 75 cents, I think. But my first like major alert on Dogecoin was like 2 cents, if anybody here remembers. Obviously did not predict it was going to go to 75, but it was great. And now Dogecoin could be setting up yet again. So if we take a look at the chart, you have a bullish Gartley, which again, it's not super textbook. A lot of these harmonics are a little bit scuffed, but you get the point of the X, A, B, C, D with certain Fibonacci levels working out. And as long as you, or if you want to, ignore these two scam wicks, it kind of did get to the 786, which is the PCZ of a Gartley, and start bouncing. You also have hidden bullish divergence on the daily. You're back testing a previous resistance as a support. That's more clear on the 4-hour. You can see that this 28-cent level was your resistance in April of this year, at the end of April. And as of pretty much the last week and a half, it's become your support. So anything above 28 cents on Dogecoin looks good. Also breaking this little trend line or supply line. It's already above it. We'll see what happens. So a lot of variables on a lot of these charts. I wanted to keep the video quick, just give you my top 10. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like it says pretty much right under my face cam, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out the links in the description. And let me know if you want to see more videos like this, just quick and to the point. And yeah, have fun. Peace out.